Okay, this is the Physical and Chemical Changes Lab. There will be 9 stations that we go through. The first station we will be mixing vinegar with baking soda. Okay, there's a small amount of vinegar down in the test tube. We'll now add the baking soda. Okay, see there's bubbling.
Bubbles.
No temperature change. Again, that is station 1, vinegar and baking soda. Okay, station 2 is potato with iodine. Okay, this is a freshly cut slice of potato. I'm going to add a couple of drops of iodine. Okay, I'm going to let that sit a minute and then we'll revisit. So I let that sit about a minute and then I rinsed or washed off the excess iodine, and what you hopefully can see is that the surface is slightly browned from the iodine. Okay, station 3, we have a test tube with just regular tap water in it. I'm going to pause the video for a second, add a small amount of salt to the container, and then mix it together. Okay, after mixing the 2 substances, there is bubbling that is occurring. You should maybe be able to see some of the bubbles rising. The powdered substance is fully dissolved, or is dissolving, and there is no temperature change. Okay, so I added salt to it. It does get a bit cloudy in appearance, but the salt has dissolved into the water. So the question is dissolving a physical or chemical property or change? Alright, station 4, we're going to put some tap water into a test tube, and then we are going to add a very small amount of crushed up Alka-Seltzer. Okay, we'll be back to video what happens when those 2 substances mix, and here in just a second. Okay, for station 5, what we are doing here is that we took a test tube and put a little bit of water in there, and then added to it a couple of ice cubes, and then simply held it in our hand and waited to see what happened. So the question is, you should know what happens when you put ice in a substance, and is that process, that the change that it goes through, is that an example of physical or chemical? Okay, for station 6, we will be lighting a match and assessing whether lighting a match, if that is a physical or chemical change. Give me one moment, I'll light the match. Alright, here is our burning match. Again, is this process an example of a physical or a chemical change? Okay, station 7, we have, this is red cabbage juice, which is a natural pH indicator. As you can see, it is blue in color to begin with, and what we're going to do is we're going to add a few drops of vinegar, white distilled vinegar, to it and see what happens. So here is our test tube with just red cabbage juice, which is blue in color, and now I'm going to add a couple of drops of distilled vinegar. So upon mixing of the 2 contents, you can see that in the container it is now a pink purple color. The test tube is not changed in temperature, so no temperature change. So you need to decide if combining cabbage juice and vinegar along with the change in color, if that is a physical or chemical change. Okay, this is station 8, the baggie experiment. What I did is I took equal amounts of baking soda, which is sodium bicarbonate, and added in calcium chloride, which is road de-icer. So those 2 contents have been mixed up here in the corner of the bag. And then I have a small medicine cup that contains phenol red, and phenol red is a pH indicator, so it will change if the pH changes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to dump the cup, and I'm going to mix up the contents. Okay, so that phenol red is red in color. Okay, right away what I'm noticing is that the bag is getting warmer. There's an obvious color change from red. There is bubbling that is occurring. The bag is filling with gas. So again, we need to assess whether this is an example of a physical or chemical change. Okay, for station 10, which I'm not able to show you at this moment, but what we did is this beaker here had salt water in it. And then we took a test tube with just a little bit of tap water and put it down inside the ice bath for 2 to 3 minutes and assessed if putting the water into a saltwater bath would be an example of a physical or chemical change.